and Tim. Hi,
Hello,
Tim.
Tim.
Hi, Tim.
I don't know
Oh,
if it'd
now
be
it says
if
there's
this.
nobody watching.
I
Oh,
don't think
maybe.
I'd call it top of the morning,
Yeah.
but
It's the morning.
it's the morning, the
Mhm.
very first part of it.
Unless you're in the UK or somewhere else.
True, or you're in an airplane like a 330, 300 over the Atlantic Ocean
North
on your
Atlantic, yeah.
way to Atlanta.
To have some barbecue and beer.
Uh huh. There's Mr. Mike Coppers.
Hi,
Hello,
Hey,
sir.
Mike.
Mike.
Good morning.
Um,
So the plan today is Steph's got about an hour, and that's about it. So we're going to try and do an hour and see where that gets us.
and we know there's probably a lot of stuff for you to get us all caught up on, Miss Steph, or not? No.
I mean, I don't know. Doesn't have to be like
Yeah.
super drawn out.
We were just that you still want to do that first, Liz, or you want to?
I just sort of thought we'd see how long that took, and then we'd know how much time we had left. So
All right, sounds good.
Wait, I have to probably go back here and see. When was the last time I was actually on the show?
ooh.
19,
Yeah.
Very fun.
2022?
I haul boxes. Good morning.
Missed all of last year
You're so-
somehow.
Have you been on the show this year?
I don't know.
I think it's been
Yeah.
three. It's been 3 or 4 weeks. I think. I would
Are you
say.
taking over for Rick?
Someone sent me an Instagram message. They were like, "Are you leaving the show? We miss you." And I was like, "Oh, that's very nice." I was like, "I am not. I am just.
Well,
just
at least
can't make my-
at least they weren't saying, "Are you leaving the show?" I'm happy.
I'm
So
happy."
that's
I know
good.
that was
Yeah,
nice.
thank God.
I was like, "Thank goodness." Happy message. I was like, "No, I just can't make my schedule line up."
It'll be like all the people that ask me, so like, where's Rick? What happened to Rick? And then I don't know.
I don't know.
He's just not showing up anymore. Honestly,
he's a busy
everybody thought
guy.
there was some kind of drama going on behind the scenes or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like we had some kind of falling out.
Yeah.
No, he just doesn't show up anymore. There's no requirement.
There's another another podcast I listen to. Frequently, it's just one guy, and he does interviews of a lot of people. But then he had a longtime collaborator and friend that he would do just a like every other week show with, just kind of a catch up between the two of them and their thoughts on like things in the world. Nothing related to the main interview format of the podcast. And they did that pretty consistently for a while, and then they just kind of stopped doing it without a lot of explanation. And apparently the same thing was happening to them. They were like, "Oh my gosh, did you guys have a falling out? Like, are you on the,
Yeah, what's
do
going
you
on
hate
there?
each other now?" They're like, "No, we just got really busy with our lives, and the one guy had a kid and like is working on a book. Like, you just couldn't make our
What?
schedules line up."
You have other things going on
No, never.
besides this? Come on.
I don't. This is the
Get you-
main focus and priority in my life. And I say that very sincerely. Well, I had to say that because I felt like Jeff was like rolling his eyes
Wow.
at me already. It's like,
No. Looking forward to seeing you in person, though,
yeah,
Yeah.
in a little while.
that'll be good.
Now, Jeff, do you have your recorder on, Jeffrey?
I do not. Thank you for asking.
Just thought the coffee might not have kicked in quite yet. So,
What's going on here?
what's going on here?
What's going on here?
That's not what you want to hear a pilot say. What's going on here?
Yeah, what's going on? Why is it doing that?
Things you don't want to hear professionals say when your doctor
Oh
goes,
yeah,
"Oops."
you don't want to hear
Yeah.
a doctor say that either.
Oops.
Oh, I've never seen that before.
Actually, frequently if we're doing, training for docs for some of the procedures, it's super common that people are like, "Oh, whoops, whoops." I'm like, "You know what? If that's happening like during the actual procedure, just figure out
Keep
some
it to
other word to
yourself.
say."
Yeah.
Or don't say it.
Keep it to
Because
yourself.
we know that you're fine and it's not like an oops or what, but that's not what the patient hears.
Yeah.
I had a measles booster shot this week.
Yay.
That's the advice. If you're traveling up here, they're telling us to get them. If you're not sure of your status, and I'm so old, like have no clue if I had it as a kid or whatever. So
Well, I know I had it, but it was like 40 years ago. So
Well, see,
I had it.
the thing up here was they said if you were born before 1970, which God knows I was, they assumed you were exposed. You either had it or were exposed.
we're exposed, sure.
Well, that's a long time ago, and I don't know, and who knows. And so anyway, I talked to my doctor, and she said, "Why don't we just get it, just to be on the safe side?"
I think I had to have titers drawn for it when I started medical school because we couldn't find my records.
Right.
And I think it was fine then, but that also was like 20 years ago. So,
She did talk about having teeters done, but she just sort of said, "You know what? Let's just come over and I'll do it." And so
yeah.
she was
It's just
actually
easier.
she was
Sometimes it's
actually
easier to get
flying
the-
to London that night with her husband, and she said, "I decided we both get it," because she just
Yeah.
said it's so contagious that
It's
doesn't
so
take-
contagious, and why it's easy to get the
Yeah.
vaccine.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. They have not made that recommendation here yet, as far as I know, but we've had several measles outbreaks in different places in this country. So,
I shared with Nick and Jilly just in case they were interested in getting it, but anyway.
Hey, Mike, how is my level compared with everybody else? Is it okay?
I know I'm not Mike, but it sounds good to me.
it sounds fine
Okay.
to me, but I can only hear.
You don't
I
want to
don't
hear,
have a lot of comparisons. It's just
Right.
listen, Jeff.
Mike says you don't want to hear your pilot say, "Hang on to something."
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Ha ha ha! I held boxes.
Deliberately contracted measles for a dare.
It was a rash decision.
Wow. Oh,
But
oh yeah.
Wah, wah.
I gotta have the old.
Oh, Tim Van Ram's back, and he says the levels are good.
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 All right, let's get this show on the road. Steph's got things to do.
All
I've got a
right.
little bit of time. Yeah,
Okay, don't
got
worry.
something in my-
We won't take up your whole day.
I've got something in my eye though. Sorry.
Oh, she's crying. She's so happy to be here. That's so nice, Steph.
Aw.
Oh.
That's sweet.
Okay,
Perfect.
so we'll have a getting to know Steph and then a couple of items and see where we get to, right?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'll go in the background. Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, we're recording there. We're recording here. Let me just record here just for the hell of it. Okay. The halibut.
The halibut.
I had some salmon last night.
I had some really good fish this past week. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I'll bet you did.
Ooh, I do have a video I could send to Liz.
Well, if it's a video,
Too
you'd
late.
have to send it to me.
Okay, hold on. It's just it's like a 2-second clip. It's speaking of food. It's just food. I have a lot of food pictures. Oh, I do have a beer picture too. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I've got a few more if you want them. I don't know. I could like.
No,
I'm
she doesn't
sending.
want
I'll send them
anymore.
to Jeff. That problem is I have too many pictures, and the problem is I have like 4,000 copies of the same picture all the time, because my friend that I was running around with is a big Instagram user. So he was like, "Get the best shot." I'm like, I'll get you one shot, and you can take it or leave it. I'm not good about deleting them, so I have like 14 copies of all the same pictures. And one more here. Where did it go? Nope. Yep.
Yeah, get out a keynote, and then I'll add it to the 609. Let me open that up.
See, it's a perfectly reasonable time for Masha.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It is pouring rain here. I don't know if you can hear that.
So, how are you sending them to me? Have you? Oh, I see. Directly. All right. Ooh, that does look good.
That was really good.
Okay, let's see. That one goes. Okay, I need to download these. Where did they go? I hit the download thing and then
And they
it said,
disappear.
okay, I downloaded it.
Down
Okay,
at the bottom,
where?
there's a downloads, like down at your dock bar or wherever your
Yeah,
dock bar
I'm
is.
looking there and I don't see.
Next to your trash, there's a downloads.
No, that's apparently not. It's not set up on mine to do that because no, I see all the downloads and none of them are there. But let me just check the folder just to make sure. Yeah, no, they
Did it go into your photos?
may have gone into photos, which I never use. I guess not where I want them. I want them in a folder. Yep, that's where they went. Now I have to figure out how to get them out of there and over. Well, you know what? I can just open up photos and share that.
You could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be easier. Yeah, we can do that. I can do it like that. But where's the movie? I don't see the movie. Huh. Well, it downloaded everything but the movie. Damn it.
How rude.
Stop playing. Okay. And okay. And where do I want to do this? It's not what I want to do with it. I want to open it in another program. All right. Open it with QuickTime Player then. And I'll just share that. It's going to be clunky, but we'll get it done. Okay. Yeah. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I don't know who'd want to skin a cat. Yeah, okay. I won't.
Please
All right,
don't.
let's-
It sounds sad.
Sounds not good. Okay. Let's, I got the recorder still running, and here we go. Speaking of the devil, wow. From her lakeside studio in South. Dr. Skydiver, marathon runner, IPA connoisseur, commercial multi-engine instrument rated backstabbing jumper dumper. It's Dr. Steph.
Hey, Captain Jeff. There is something about being long lost and unfamiliar, and who is this person? But glad to be here.
What? I barely recognize your voice.
I know it's been a minute.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. So,
Thanks.
since we're talking about the fact that we haven't seen you in a while, maybe this would be a good time for all of us to get caught up with what you've been up to in the last
Sure.
few weeks.
Well, I'd be happy to do that. I know it's been. We couldn't even remember which show was the last one that I was actually on.
I think it
So
was 2021.
yeah, it's like been a couple of years, I think, at this point.
It
Truthfully,
seems
most
like it.
most of that time was not terribly interesting things going on in my life, mostly just being very busy with work and not being able to coordinate my schedule with y'all's schedule. So there were many times where you were recording and I was just at work. So kind of a bummer for me. I would have definitely preferred to have been enjoying spending time with you all and talking about some aviation. But the past couple of weeks have been
I don't
been
believe it.
more fun. Those who have listened to the show for a while will know that in February, typically I attend a conference. I like to put that in air quotes. I did not share any of the pictures of the actual the actual conference, but the recreational activities that surround the conference are quite fun. So this year it was out in Utah. It was the main conference was at Snowbird. Some of these pictures are actually from Brighton. I went out a couple days early to do some skiing with friends and family, and the snow was fantastic this year. As you can tell, it was coming down in big fat flakes. Started Monday night. I got out there on Sunday, had a chance to spend most of Sunday with family, catch up with my siblings who live out there still, and my nieces and nephews. So that was really nice. And then a friend of mine from my childhood, who I've known for 35 plus years at this point, joined me, and we did some skiing for a couple of days at Brighton Ski Resort. And it started snowing on Monday night, and it really didn't stop until Thursday morning. So it was lovely. If you are a powder hound, it was kind of a little slice of heaven. We'd go down a run, and we were taking all these runs through these forested and tree areas, and you'd make a pathway through all of that, and then you'd come back up for the next run and try and find the same path, and it would all be snowed over again, and it was like making fresh tracks every single time down. So it was really lovely. So we did that a couple of days, and then transferred over to, I don't know if I have any snowbird pictures in there. I think I do. They're the ones with sun, because the sun actually came out.
Would those be the ones that I was supposed to show?
No, I think
Okay.
yours were just, I thought I had sent like 8 photos to Liz.
Yeah.
That's true. But anyway, no, that's in Japan. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, and then we had a couple of days of nice sunny skiing over at Snowbird. And as usual, conference was great. It's definitely worth going to for me. I always learn a lot. There's a lot of folks from our field who are kind of on the edge of all of the theme of the conference is evidence and technology. So, up and coming technological advances, and then just a big deep dive into all of the literature for the things that we do in support of evidence for why what we do is important. So any AI? Not really. No, AI hasn't really infiltrated its way into backstabbing yet. So yeah, here if you show up for to see a doctor like myself and get one of the procedures that I offer, it's probably going to be a live person doing that for you.
Tim Van Ram has a pretty good question for you here. He says, isn't it hard to read the GPS when it's mounted on top of your helmet?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little tricky.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You just got to do like a backflip or something.
No, I
that wouldn't work.
took probably like 4 hours worth of GoPro footage, and I have edited 0 of it so far. So it's just on my GoPro. Yeah, the next time we need to fill some time, I'll just send you the raw GoPro footage. So most of it's just kind of this nice calming, like weaving in and out of trees and snow softly falling.
Cool.
But my intention was to send some of that to my friends and family that I was skiing with, and then I have not done anything with it yet.
Well, one of these years.
One of these years, eventually, maybe they'll get a Christmas present from me.
Yeah.
Here's this video from 15 years ago. Remember when we went skiing?
So other than the conference and skiing, what else?
So then I was out in Utah for a week, and actually it was the last day, left Utah, went to Las Vegas for a night, and we had tickets to see U2 at the Sphere, which was a really cool experience. So if anyone thinking of seeing any shows or anything at the Sphere, can highly recommend. Talk about cool technology. I'd seen it from the exterior before when we were there for the F1 race a couple of months back in November. But man, that's a cool concert venue, and can't go wrong with U2. So,
Yeah.
So did that for a night and then flew back home, opposite sides of the country for anyone familiar with geography of the United States. Came back and actually worked for 2 days. And then took a day for myself to, as Liz was saying, kind of do laundry, hit the reset button, make sure I'd tidied up, important tasks and things. And then set out again on Thursday, left in the morning, had a flight from Charlotte to Dallas, had a couple hour layover there, and then got on a Dreamliner over to Tokyo. So these pictures are probably out of order a little bit, but the whole reason for going there was to run the Tokyo Marathon, which was on Sunday. So I arrived in Japan on Friday night, So I left here Thursday morning, went to Dallas. Like I said, left Dallas at like 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that flight arrives in Tokyo 6 p.m. the next day. So it's like
Gotcha.
13 hours of flying time. Intentionally, Jeff was asking how the jet lag went, and I only spent like 4 full days in Japan. So intentionally, I really worked hard to figure out how I was not going to be jet lagged, because otherwise then you don't enjoy your time while you're there, and then you're just really messed up when you come back. So I did not sleep hardly at all on the flight over, like try to minimize that. Build up some pressure to actually fall asleep when you get there. I got to Tokyo, about 6 p.m. local time. Immediately got a message from one of my friends that was already there. He said, "Can you make 8 p.m. dinner reservations?" And I'm going, we're like taxiing to Timbuktu here in Haneda. I'm not sure when we're even going to get to the gate. And it took about 35 minutes to get through customs immigration. So nothing terrible. And then I took the train basically across town, and just went straight to the restaurant with all of my stuff. Got there right at 8 o'clock, and we had this amazing dinner, which that's the video that I gave you, Jeff.
All right.
I'd eaten at this restaurant once before, and I told my friend about it, and he said, well, we're eating there again, because he had not been there. But we have some Wagyu beef, that's Japanese abalone, which if you notice is moving. Some like little shrimp langoustine stuff and foie gras. So yeah, if you can see that on the screen there.
I saw that, yeah.
They're like a marine snail. And all of it's cooked right there. It's all teppanyaki, so cooked right in front of you on the grill.
Nice.
And it was delicious. It was definitely worth staying up a little bit later than I anticipated that first night, having a fantastic meal, and then went over to the hotel, checked in, and passed out for about 7 hours solid. So Saturday was busy. Had to get up and go to the day before a marathon, or in one of the couple days leading up to it, you have to go to the expo typically to pick up your bib and your information and everything else. So had to make sure I got down there. They typically require that you do that in person. So I did that. That was kind of an adventure, because my friend that I met for dinner, despite having had been in Tokyo for multiple days, had not gone to the expo yet. He was like, I just kind of didn't think about going sooner. The only travel snag I'll say that we kind of ran into, which wasn't a huge snag, was that in maybe just Tokyo, but kind of all of Japan, they had a shortage on the chips for the Metro cards. So they weren't issuing new like reloadable Metro cards. So it was forcing people to have to buy a lot of like 1-day passes or 1-ride passes. But the problem is not all of the subway lines are run by the same company. So sometimes you can't transfer between them without buying a new ticket. And we actually had quite a bit of difficulty getting from the hotel to the expo site without having to buy multiple tickets, which was frustrating. So we said heck with it, and we took an Uber back to the hotel afterwards, even though the subway's quite efficient and inexpensive. Fortunately, I'd kept mine from previous trips to Tokyo. This was actually my 3rd trip there, so I had a Metro card dating back to 2017 that still worked just fine. And it still had money on it too when I got there. I went, oh, perfect.
Nice.
So I didn't have to reload it a ton. And then Sunday morning, got up early. Actually pretty leisurely start time. This is a picture from the start line of the race. Starts at 9:10 in the morning, so plenty of time to get up, have breakfast, coffee, use the facilities, use the facilities again. This picture here, that's my friend Ron, who does a running podcast for anyone who's interested. He does run chats with @RonRunsNYC. Super guy. I actually met him for the first time when I ran Tokyo the first time around in 2018, but just a lot of fun to do marathons with. But we were in the same start corral, so we started the race together. He was taking some video footage as we started came across the start line there, and one of his friends actually captured this. He was doing some official photography for the race, so he sent us this photo, which was really cool. And the whole reason for going to Tokyo and doing this race again was because it completed the second time through of the World Marathon Majors series. So there's 6 races in big cities around the world that are part of this series. There's Chicago, New York, Boston here in the States, and then there's London, Berlin, and Tokyo. So somehow I managed to do all of the other 5 a second time through. I said, well, gosh, if I've done all that work, I might as well go and do Tokyo one more time, collect my second 6-star medal.
As you do.
But it was actually Ron's 3rd time through, so he collected a 3rd 6-star medal. And then we brought our medals with us and kind of ran around to different places and did some fun photos. We hadn't made any plans for the day after the race. It was complete contrast to the first time I ran the race there. The first time in 2018, it was this rainy, windy, chilly day. It was not a very pleasant race day. This time around, sunny, 55 degrees, light winds, like just really beautiful racing conditions. I wish I'd been better trained. Probably could have had a better time. But just went and kind of had a fun run with it and enjoyed all the sights and all the things Tokyo has to offer. We hadn't made any plans for the day after the race. We kind of said, we'll just wake up and see how we feel and maybe, go on a sushi eating tour of Tokyo the next day. But I woke up and I was up pretty early. I went to breakfast and I was thinking, I heard Kyoto is a fun place to go to. Wonder if we could do it in a day. So I started looking up the train system, and you can take one of the bullet trains down there for, it's a little pricey, but you're going almost 300 miles, and it takes just over 90 minutes to get there. So pretty quick. And that in and of itself seemed like an experience. So I messaged my 2 friends that were there at the hotel with me, so Ron and my other friend Jorge, and I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm just going to do it. If I don't hear from you, too bad, or, figure out how to get yourself there. But if you want to go with me, be in the lobby at 8:45. And they both showed up, so we all went down to Kyoto for the day and had a nice day. Just
the temples and stuff, right?
A lot of temples. We went to a castle, actually. Some of the it was Monday, and some of the places were closed. But we found this market that kind of reminded me of like the Japanese version of Quincy Market in Boston, if you're familiar. Like a lot of different food vendors and stalls and things for sale. Kind of a narrow street with this really cool like stained glass appearance over the top of it. A lot of the kiosks were selling similar things. There was a lot of seafood and fresh fish, and we found a little sushi restaurant kind of nestled in there that only sat like 15 people total. So we went in there and we had just this amazing omakase, just chef selection sushi meal for lunch, which was great. We found these little tiny Asahi beers for like 100 yen. Drank a couple of those as we wandered through the market, and then we went over to the some of the pictures there were from the castle. Not that one. That's actually my hotel room had this stunning view of the finish line. I think if you hit
Yeah, I'm trying to advance.
Trying to make it bigger. That's what she said.
Okay, well, there's the
so there's the market,
Asahi.
yeah. And the one before that was an example of some of the kiosks. So all these, crab and shrimp and fried things, and just really awesome. It smelled so good walking through there. This is the view from
Okay, sorry.
that one. From
I'm not as good at this as
that's okay.
Liz
That's
is.
okay. I'm just trying to make the commentary match up with the image displayed on the screen.
Doesn't matter.
This was we had a really fabulous hotel stay there at the suggestion of my friend Ron. But it's really one of the only hotels right at the finish line. So you can see behind me is actually the finish line of the marathon, the little I don't know what you would call it. They have the finish line set up. The little areas of pink down there are kind of the towers that you run between at the finish line. And then they have everything else set up for collecting your medal and your poncho and your post-race swag and your 6-star medal if you're getting one of those. But really cool part of town, and that's the whole Imperial Gardens, like right there to the right on the picture. So we set up some fancy medal shots and all the stuff for the Instagram. Yeah, the weather, this was race day. It was gorgeous. Like, it couldn't have asked for a nicer race day. So.
Shall I advance to?
Yeah, sure.
There's some more.
There's more food.
Is that the little
Jeff and Liz.
Place?
No. I actually didn't take any pictures of the sushi there. The guys I was with did, but I didn't collect any of their photos. I don't know. I was just so interested in consuming the food that I didn't take any pictures. This was actually Tuesday. So I came home on Tuesday, but I had pretty much all day to roam around Tokyo, mostly by myself because everyone else was leaving also. So I went over to Tokyo Station, kind of the main train station, very close to the hotel. And if you've ever been to Tokyo, most of the train stations are also just like giant shopping centers and like lots of restaurants and things. So down in the basement level of the train station, there's this whole area called Tokyo Ramen Street. So it's like 8 different ramen shops all right next to each other. And I was looking at them. I'm like, I don't really know what the difference is between any of them. And they all seem to have about the same amount of people in line to go into these places. Kind of an interesting setup. You get in line. You have a little like vending machine before you go in. You put your money in the vending machine and it's cash only. And you make your ramen selection. Like you just push the button for the type of ramen that you want. And then it spits out a little ticket, which you can kind of see on the table there. On the other side of the ramen bowl. And you hand that to the host, and then they seat you at the table and they bring your ramen out. It seemed very efficient, but this was delicious. This was really good ramen.
Do they still have like all the little models of what the entrees or whatever look like, so you can kind of just point at them and tell them what you want? Not at this place, but
a lot of on this one it had the vending machine just had a picture of what the ramen would look like.
Okay.
So pictures, yes.
Yeah.
They literally reminded me of like a vending machine with candy here in the States. So you just push the button and spits out the ticket and get your food.
All right. Shall I remove the
Yep.
phone? There we go. All right. Wow. What a great trip.
So
And so you got back when? You said Tuesday?
I got back Tuesday. So I left at 6 p.m. local time Tokyo on Tuesday. Back through Dallas. Landed at 2 p.m. Tuesday, local time in Dallas. Again,
Back in time.
Back in time. It's a very long Tuesday. You're like, wait a minute, I've already had all of Tuesday. But
You get some more.
You get bonus Tuesday. Yeah, as long as it's a good day. No, I slept pretty much the entire flight back to Dallas. I woke up with like an hour remaining in the flight, so that really did feel a bit like time travel. But that worked out really well. I was able to get on an earlier flight than I was originally booked on from Dallas back to Charlotte. So that was good because both of those flights were actually delayed. If I'd been on my original one, I wouldn't have gotten home until like 10 p.m. or something crazy. But got back just before 9 p.m. to my house. And then I went straight to work on Wednesday morning like a normal person.
Very good.
No, and then they said, we're going to record the show on Thursday. And I went, oh, gosh. I had very busy, very busy days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Kind of the price to pay for cramming all that travel in 2 weeks' time makes work extra busy. But
Well,
that's
we
okay.
were
It's
more
worth
than
it.
happy to do a 2-parter so that we could accommodate
Yes, thanks for
your presence. And
Thanks for-
so it's nice to get all caught up with you.
I
Welcome
appreciate
back.
it. Thank you.
Now, are you leaving again soon?
Don't think so.
Okay, good.
I have nothing that involves me traveling anywhere on the calendar until like September, which is also giving me a bit of anxiety, and I might have to fix that.
Oh,
So
I'm sure that you'll go somewhere between now and then. And you're going to have some guests in
I am
early
in
April.
a couple weeks. Yeah, like 3 weeks.
And Mike, I don't know if Mike Price is still there with us in the live audience, but I mentioned to him that we are probably going to have some kind of an APG community meetup on one of the evenings that we're there. The whole crew is getting together and for a retreat. So keep your calendar open and monitor X and Facebook for any announcements that we might have for a proposed meetup while we're in the Charlotte area.
Yeah,
And,
definitely looking forward to that. It's going to be a good weekend.
Yeah, I hope so too. All right. So we got all that taken care of. Let's go. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move to some news, Miss Steph.
Sure.
And first of all, we did talk about this earlier in this show in part one. We didn't have a lot of information about it, but we talked about the NTSB is investigating the stuck rudder pedal issue on a United
Yes.
Boeing 737 MAX 8. And I mentioned earlier that there was no sign of it on Aviation Herald. And sure enough, I think shortly after we recorded the show, we found
You were
out. Yeah,
just a little premature.
I think Simon was probably listening
And he went,
live
"Oh,
and thought, "Oh,
I
oh,
didn't do
what?
a
Here,
I didn't do a
let me
blurb
check
about
this.
it."
let me get something up there about that." And so let me read a little bit about that from the Aviation Herald. Again, this is a United Boeing 737-8 MAX registration November 47280. Thank you for not putting any letters in there. That's easier for me to just do numbers. Flight 1539 from Nassau to Newark, New Jersey. Let's see, they landed on runway 4 right in Newark, and during the rollout, rudder pedals were stuck in the neutral position. The captain maintained directional control via the steering tiller, rolled out without further incident, and taxied to the apron. The aircraft underwent a test flight the following day, during which the anomaly was replicated. So it wasn't just a fluke or a water bottle, as Captain Nick suggested.
Yes.
Maybe it could be.
That's a good thought, but no.
Yeah. Let's see. In the post-incident statement, the captain reported that during the landing rollout, the rudder pedals did not move in response to the normal application of foot pressure while attempting to maintain runway centerline. The pedals remained stuck in their neutral position. The captain used the nose wheel steering tiller to keep the airplane near the runway centerline while slowing to a safe taxi speed before exiting the runway onto a high-speed turnoff. While on the high-speed turnoff, the captain asked the first officer to check his rudder pedals, and he reported the same problem. The captain reported that shortly thereafter, the rudder pedals began to operate normally. Yeah, okay, great. After
Real
parking
useful now.
Yeah, now, yeah, I could have used it on the runway when we were a lot
Exactly.
faster. After parking the aircraft, the flight crew notified UAL maintenance of the flight control malfunction. The airplane was removed from service for maintenance and troubleshooting. A review of preliminary flight data recorder data corroborated the pilot's statements regarding the malfunction of the rudder system. The data showed that during the landing and subsequent rollout, the rudder surface position remained near its neutral position, even though the force inputs to the rudder pedals were observed to be increasing. About 30 seconds after touchdown, a significant pedal force input was observed, along with corresponding rudder surface movement. Afterward, the rudder pedals and rudder surface began moving as commanded and continued to function normally for the remainder of the taxi. Let's see. On the 9th of February, UAL conducted a test flight on the event airplane and was able to duplicate the reported rudder system malfunction. Let's see. As a result, the test flight profile was discontinued, and the airplane returned to Newark and landed uneventfully. The NTSB reported that post-incident troubleshooting and inspection of the rudder control system found no obvious malfunctions with the system or any of its components whose failure would have resulted in the restricted movement observed on Flight 1539 and the test flight. As a precaution, the aft rudder input torque tube and associated upper and lower bearings and the rudder rollout guidance servo were removed for further examination by the NTSB Systems Group. Then they talk about meeting on the 28th of February at Collins Aerospace Facility in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, to examine and test the SV0730 rollout guidance servo. Everybody's got one of those. Spare one of those in their drawer.
Oh yeah, I have one right over here.
Do you have yours there?
I do.
So you could show us?
I think I misplaced it though. I thought I had it.
Shoot.
It's just right
Oh,
there.
well.
Oh, I could read the manual for it.
Yeah, we'll have a couple of IPAs first.
Coffee. Started with coffee.
I like the mug.
I know. Look at this fancy.
Look at that fancy
Look at
mug
that
that Jeff
beautiful
made
mug.
a long time ago.
When we do shows early in the morning, I can use my coffee mug.
Yeah,
I guess I could
I like
pour
it.
IPA into it later in the day too, and no one would really know.
Well, I have my dad mug. And I had earlier in the show some merch from Squawk Ident podcast. And I know you didn't get to see that, but under the Squawk Ident logo, there's a picture of, oh shoot, my camera now just is accepting gestures. I don't want that to happen. Anyway,
Is it part of the fancy new augmented
no,
reality?
no, that's another thing.
Vision
No,
Pro
no,
stuff.
that's like I wish it was that, but it's not. It's other stuff.
Yeah.
The part of the software for this Insta360 Link camera that just sometimes drives me nuts, and every time it restarts, it decides that I want gestures, but I don't. And the gestures in this case control the camera.
Oh, okay. Gestures
And-
like
Yeah, I can I think zoom in maybe. I'm not saying that I'm a loser, although maybe I am. I don't know. Anyway, I just noticed on the camera itself, it has like a little LED light, and most of the time it's green. But then when I sometimes use my hands to talk, like I'm part Italian, the light turns blue, and I'm thinking, and it starts
no.
flashing, and I went, oh no, it thinks I'm trying to communicate something to it. Anyway,
so back to
So,
the cold
where were
soaking
we?
of the
Oh, the
SVO
cold soaking.
730 rollout guidance servo.
Yeah. So the testing was conducted to evaluate the effects that temperature cold soaking of the servo might have on the torque required to move the servo's output crank arm. Testing at room temperature found that the torque to rotate the servo's output crank arm was within design specifications. The unit was then cold soaked for 1 hour, and the test was repeated. That testing found that the torque to move the servo's output crank arm was significantly beyond the specified design limits. Because the servo output crank arm is mechanically connected to the rudder input torque tube, the restricted movement of the servo's output crank arm would prevent the rudder pedals from moving as observed during flight 1539 and the test flight. So in other words, sounds like they need
So,
to protect the
The
servo.
Yeah, I'm like, so where is the servo installed, right? But also, was it just this one particular servo from the incident aircraft that had this design flaw to it? Because presumably it's installed in the same place on every 737 MAX 8, and
Right.
this is the first instance, at least that we know of this happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe it's just this specific servo that's faulty, as opposed to all of them that are installed. Because surely
Right.
they wouldn't have installed them in a place where they're subject to being quite cold for significant lengths of time if they're not going to function then when you need them to
I
function.
wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Yeah, it's kind of odd that we haven't seen any of these. And these airplanes are flying up at very, very, high altitudes and cold temperatures, and have been for some time.
Right.
Interesting.
So I don't know. Be curious to
Yeah.
see if we get any more info on this.
Hello, look at that. Main man Micah is up early.
Up early.
Wow, I didn't think you could do that, Micah. That's amazing. Several of our
Yes, quite
members of our
honored.
live audience are here with us early on a Saturday morning, Eastern time in the United States. So thanks for showing up. A little bit more decent hour, I think, over in the UK and Europe. We see several members there, Masha and Pip, and some others. Yeah, iHall Boxes, not sure where he is. I'm not sure he
It's-
knows where he is.
He might not know. And it's always, even if he did know, he wouldn't be able to say, I feel like.
That's
undisclosed.
probably true. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm just going to say it's raining quite a bit here, but nothing like what's happening in San Francisco.
Yeah, the rain in San Francisco is a little bit harder and
A little bit more destructive,
more rubbery.
rubbery. Rubbery.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I don't think I finished my thought. The mug that I got from Squawk Ident has, under the Squawk Ident label, has my mug shot on the mug, taken from the website, I think. The one that I'm sitting in my captain's seat with my sunglasses on, and I'm thinking, are they like saying that I'm now like on their team? I'm one of the hosts on the Squawk Ident podcast. Huh.
I don't know. Are you trying
I
to
don't
tell us
know. I
something?
mean, no, I am not because I haven't heard anything.
Oh,
I
okay.
just saw the mug, my picture on the mug. They have not made me an offer yet, but
I'm
maybe
gonna
my
guess if there's a monetary offer, it's more than what you're getting paid here.
yes, vastly more. Anyway, so thanks again, you guys over there at Squawk Ident. Appreciate that. You know what? Just a quick aside. I know Liz is going, oh, where are you going now, Jeff? We're in the middle of the news segment, and now you're just talking about coffee mugs and all sort of nonsense. Yes, tangents are us. Um, I got an email from one of the companies we use for our merch on the APG store, and I have not touched anything on that for quite some time. In fact, they were saying if you don't do certain things, then you're going to lose all these listings and blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, it would really be nice if there was somebody out there in the community that wanted to like help out with like,
Merge.
the store, the merch, and yeah, be a merch manager. Ooh, a double M. Um, but anyway, just a thought that because yeah, don't expect a lot of pay. Don't expect any pay. But expect a lot of smiles and no, not accolades and
Appreciation.
appreciation from all of us here on the crew. But anyway, so if you're interested in like doing something in that regard, maybe coming up with some new designs and stuff, that would be a lot of fun for you, maybe. not not me. I want nothing to do with it, actually. Okay, again, uh, let's go back on track and
Back
look
to the
at
news.
F, and this one is specifically marked for Dr. Steph.
I think you've
And
been
it's
hanging on
from,
to it for a couple of weeks.
we have been, or a little while, maybe not
February
that long.
18th. Yeah,
So this is from, oh boy, Solothurner Zeitung.ch.
sure.
Solothurner Zeitung. Um, and this happened in Grenchen.
Grenchen?
Okay, where's Grenchen? Is that
Switzerland, I think.
Switzerland? There was an aircraft accident at Grenchen Airport on Sunday afternoon, whatever Sunday that was, sometime in mid-February. Several emergency services are on duty. The crashed plane belongs to the Skydive Grenchen Association. Apparently, several parachutists had left the plane in time. The pilot lost his life in the incident. Shortly after 2 p.m. on Sunday, the Solothurn Cantonal Police received a report of an aircraft accident near Grenchen. Let's see. When asked about an hour after the accident, the media spokesman Nordine Kamsi stated that an area in a field near the airport was cordoned off. The road that leads to Stadt was also specifically closed. The crash site is right next to the tennis court, which is on the road between Grenchen and Stadt. Well, anyway, in details we aren't too concerned about. The Skydive Grenchen Club finally published a message on social media. It says, we are informing you about the incident with our aircraft, Hotel Bravo Tango Charlie Papa. All parachutists could have exited the aircraft and landed safely on the ground. I think what they mean is they did.
They did.
Nothing
Yeah.
is currently known about the pilot's condition, it was initially said. And then they found out and reported that the pilot indeed died in the accident. And I was mentioning to Steph, this airplane is such an attractive airplane.
Jeff is very much in love with the PAC 750 design.
Ooh, it's so sleek.
It's yeah, I'm with you, Jeff. It's not my favorite design. It just doesn't have that. Yeah,
It's not sexy.
it's used quite extensively for skydiving operations at a lot of places around the world. It was kind of purpose built for that in some regards, but has some interesting design features that may not be the best characteristics for jump operations.
Like what, for
Specifically,
instance?
if you look at this this picture here, we got kind of this front-on view. If you look back at the horizontal stabilizer, you'll notice the tail's quite low. The door is actually on the other side of the aircraft where everyone's kind of standing. You can see their feet at the bottom of the picture there.
Okay.
And, the door's towards the rear of the airplane, quite close to the horizontal stab. It's the type of aircraft where you definitely don't want to be introducing any additional vertical elements as you're leaving the airplane. So no jumping. You don't want to hit your head on the tail as you leave. But more importantly, you don't want things to get tangled up in those control surfaces. I have seen video of near incidents where a jumper's reserve parachute prematurely deployed, which can happen if there's an issue with the gear or the pin, or it gets jostled unnecessarily. But in that incident, there was pretty good video footage of it, and the parachute itself, the canopy, and the lines went just underneath the tail of the airplane, like narrowly avoided getting entangled with it. And there's definitely some speculation that may have been exactly what happened in this incident. Someone's gear got tangled up in the control surfaces on the tail of the plane and rendered it, uncontrollable, basically. In which case, yeah, definitely all the jumpers probably could have gotten out because they would have been at jump altitude. And, not a great outcome for the pilot, unfortunately. But that's speculation. We don't have confirmation that that's definitely what happened. But if you read through the rest of this article, it talks about the plane quickly losing altitude from 3,000 meters above sea level before crashing. And, looking at kind of the crash site, it looks like probably came down pretty... What would you say, Jeff? I don't know. You have more experience looking at things kind of flat almost. Oh, can't hear Jeff, but...
Now you can hear me. Yes, it does look like I was typing on my keyboard, and I thought you wouldn't want to hear that in the recording. But yes, I would say it looks like it did kind of pancake in and kind of a very flat kind of an impact with terra firma. From what I gathered in the reports, looks like this occurred after or very close to the end of when the parachutists were exiting.
We call it jump run.
The jump
run.
Okay. And that's why you're here, because you know all these
I know
things.
The terms. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it fits the timing of reported events, but like I said, we just don't have any definite confirmation that that's exactly what happened, but it's plausible.
Every once in a while, iHall Boxes in our live audience says, every once in a while, Mother Nature will reject a PAC 750. Yeah. Even Mother Nature. I was saying only this thing has a face that only a mother could love. But apparently sometimes even Mother Nature spits out her children.
So I've never flown a PAC. Apparently it's jump pilots like it and appreciate it for its flying and handling characteristics, aside for perhaps this potential issue.
Well, I just got an update on some progress of someone who I'm going to meet up with later today, along with some other APG community members. And let me just share this quickly. We're all over the place here on part 2, but
that's okay.
That's
That's kind of the charm of this show.
It's a Saturday. Yeah, it's kind of a more casual Saturday morning kind of a style show. That is the flight progress of Captain Jure coming over from Amsterdam. And
looks like, is that Newfoundland? Okay.
Yep,
See,
Newfoundland.
woohoo,
And,
Canadian geography. I didn't embarrass myself in front of Liz.
Nailed it. Well,
Nailed it.
you deserve this.
I can't.
Newfoundland. I think she did say Newfoundland.
Newfoundland? I didn't get it. I didn't get the emphasis.
Understand.
Newfoundland.
Who can
Newfoundland.
understand Newfoundland? I
Newfoundland.
don't know. Newfoundlanders, maybe. Yeah, he's across the pond, heading in, and is scheduled to arrive about 1:20, 1:30. Yeah, it looks like they're running a little bit early. And yeah, and then I'm going to go down there and pick him up from his hotel in Buckhead. And we're going to drive up to Alpharetta, Georgia. And we have at least 4 or 5. I think Perry Heyman messaged me that he rearranged his flight, so he's going to come up there as well. So I'm definitely going to need a beer by then. Thank you. I need a beer right now, actually.
It's a little early for that.
No,
No,
it's
it's
not.
Saturday.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Liz is telling us we have a little over 15 minutes left in the hour or so, but we may go a little bit longer depending on what's happening here. Okay. Let's go to feedback then, and we're going to feedback 8 for specifically for Dr. Steph. Now, I was having a conversation with Tom T on Patreon. He is one of our patrons, and he asked this in episode 602. There was a discussion about doctors giving medical aid in flight. The question in my nefarious mind is, would the crew ask for some official documents to prove the person really is a medical doctor? Still listening, and hi, y'all. So that's from Tom T. So I thought, you know what? I would love to ask a cabin attendant if they have some kind of a procedure involving that. But then I'm thinking, I wonder if I know someone who has actually rendered aid and is a medical doctor person. I do know somebody. She's right here with us. Steph.
Yes. And
So you know that you mentioned and have gone into detail about some of your in-flight and, well, not even in-flight, on airplane. Kind of
two of the 3 incidents that I've been involved in have been just on the ground at the gate.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So what is there? Did they say, like, if you raise your hand and say, yes, I'm a doctor, and since you're not wearing your stethoscope around your
Leslie Nielsen style.
yeah, exactly, Leslie Nielsen style. How would they know? I mean, do they check anything? Do they
I have
have like a
never.
little card that
So
says
I have responded 3 times in
yeah.
previous years to request for medical assistance on aircraft, and I have never once been asked for any sort of formal identification. The tricky thing is, though, medical professionals don't typically, like, we don't have like a card or a license or anything. I'm actually this is just luck here, but my updated diploma for re-upping my board certification came in the mail the other day.
Do you keep that with you on at all times?
I do not, because it's
It's rather large.
it's large. It's the same size as the stuff back there on the wall. And I went, oh,
That's
great,
what she said.
something else that I'm gonna have to frame. And yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I actually have not even taken this out of the.
Oh, look, it's an unboxing live on the APG. Look at that. Wow, that is nice. Here, I'm going to solo
Well,
your layout there.
No, it's okay. I wasn't going to show all the details, but
Oh, okay.
you can
All right.
read it.
Well,
Yeah. So
okay.
my American
We see a
Board
little
of
bit of, a little peek.
Physical
little
Medicine and
tease.
Rehabilitation
Nice.
board certification. But no, I don't carry all this around with me.
We can fold it up and keep it in your wallet.
It'll fit in my wallet quite nicely.
So basically, you're
But
saying
back to
it's-
Tom
it's
T's question
on
for you.
our
It is
honor
on.
system.
It's on honor system. I could see where if someone was really twisted, maybe it could be a concern. But honestly, I don't think there's too many people out there that are going to be like, "Ooh, I should just get up and see what I can do in this situation," if they're not confident that they might be able to assist in some sort of way. There have been occasions where nobody volunteers, and then somebody who has like community CPR training will get up to offer assistance. So you don't necessarily have to always be a physician. I've definitely worked situations where we've had a respiratory therapist come by and offer assistance, which was perfect and helpful and very necessary. Nurses, certainly, and all kinds of other allied health professionals. And basically the guidance for healthcare professionals is that in community situations where it's emergency and you're not in a very structured environment, it's appropriate to offer assistance that matches your level of skill and training. So you shouldn't be going above and beyond what you're able to do. And if you're not the right professional for it, you definitely want to make that known. So, there's a time where I showed up to help with not knowing what the situation was, and it was, the patient in that instance was a child, so had to figure out if that was something that was appropriate for me to do, because I don't see or treat children on a regular basis. It depends on what the problem is and what the situation is. Liz is asking about the physician who had been drinking on the aircraft and decided not to offer assistance when it was asked for. And, in my mind, that's perfectly appropriate. You don't want to offer assistance if you're not physically or mentally capable of doing so.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it's a situation where they required like an open heart surgery procedure, you'd probably say, I don't think that's my
Hopefully,
area of expertise.
that's not my area of expertise. But a lot of times, it's about either basic first aid type things or basic life support, so CPR or using an AED. And one instance that I had was really about like a sinus block, the one with the child. So
Did you pull out your portable hand drill?
I did. I was like, we can
Drill
get right
into
into that maxillary sinus for you here.
Yeah, nice.
Take care of that.
Little bloody,
and actually,
but-
that was really more about parental management, because Mom was freaking out, and it really is. So
you took the other end of the drill, and just the butt of the drill, and just hit her in the head and knocked her out.
Oh, poor Mom. So no.
Tim Van Ram in our live audience says, easy enough to identify which person is the MD in an emergency. They are the ones sitting next to the patient typing on the laptop.
It's so sad to me that that's our perception of how medical visits and encounters go these days. I try very hard not to do anything on our computer until it's absolutely necessary, like that. Face-to-face interaction, really make sure that you're engaging. Otherwise, I don't think you're hearing or listening as well as you possibly can be. And that's very, it's just vital, no pun intended, to what we do.
Very good. All right. Well, Tom T., there's your answer.
Yeah.
We have time for one more. Okay, so I know that I see the piece of feedback from iHall Boxes, but I'm thinking, it's a rather lengthy,
It's lengthy.
Bunch of feedback, and
and Nick Camacho.
And,
so probably save that for Nick.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll hold that aside, iHall Boxes. Hope you don't mind, but thank you for sending it in. I especially like his first sentence. Dear hosts of the world's best aviation podcast that is not begging their listeners for only 5-star reviews. I wonder which one he's talking about. The other...
Reverse or unlock?
Oh, we could do that. Okay. That just requires me to just quickly share my screen and go over to the keynote.
Ooh, so while you're doing that, I got a notification on my computer just now that daylight saving time starts tomorrow.
It does. Very early in the morning. Oops.
I'm excited that the sun will be setting tomorrow at like 7:30 p.m. That's fantastic.
Okay. Play. I had to configure everything to play some of those or show some of those images of Steph's time in Tokyo. Okay, so now I'm going to go back here and present again and pick where is it? Here it is. Boom, boom. Okay, and boom. Okay, this we received from Tom. Oh, is it the same Tom T? Probably is. We're not sure. From Patreon, yeah. So I'm not sure if this is the same Tom T or not. Anyway, hi, Jeff and crew. This one caught me. A reverser unlock. Once a mayday has been called, that is an emergency, right? Yes, you're right, Tom. That's one of the things that I yelled at my screen when I was watching this video. You'll understand what we're talking about here in a minute. He said, what are the options for the crew? I'll go over some of his questions after we actually watch this together. What do you think?
Sure.
So here we go. This is from, wow, that was a close one. Real ATC. Videos based on ATC communications and data from flight tracking services. It's an American Airlines flight taking off out of Portland, Oregon.
Departure American 1625, 2.2, climb at 7,000.
American 1625, one departure, radar contact, climbing on 5,000.
1,500, American 1625.
Took off on 10 right. Heading east.
And departure American 1625.
American 1625, one good.
Yeah, we got an issue. We'd like to level at 4,000 or 5,000 here if we can.
American 1625, Roger, maintain 5,000. Do you need back to Portland? Do you need assistance?
Yeah, it may come to that. We'll take a look here and get back to you real quick. Yeah, for now, 5,000, American 1625.
American 1625 and 5,000.
Yeah, we'll level at 5,000. We'll let you know. We're taking a look at it.
American 1625, ready.
And Portland, American 1625, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. We'll need to return to Portland. We've got to shut down an engine here.
American 1625, Roger. Please report on airport. Do you radar vector? Converting 180, maintain 5,000.
180 on the heading, maintain 5,000, American 1625.
American 1625, are you declaring emergency? Do you want the vehicles ready for you?
Yeah, affirmative. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. We are single engine at this point. So, yeah, if you want to roll the equipment for us, we'd appreciate it.
Now that I'm watching this the second time.
I think he was stepped on the first time.
He was stepped on. I didn't notice it.
I don't think he heard
first
it, yeah.
time. The air traffic controller did not hear him say Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. So I take back everything I implied. Okay, here we go.
American 1625, how many souls on board? Fuel remaining. Advises Zulu.
We got 156 souls on board, and we've got 18,200 pounds fuel.
American 1625, turn right heading 250.
All right, right turn 250, American 1625.
American 1625, step runway 10 right, Alpha, just became current. Wind 080 at 200, got 36, altimeter 3026.
All right, 10 right and 3026 on the meter, American 1625.
American 1625, turn right heading 280, and what was the reason for the shutdown?
We got a number one reverser unlock, and our procedures call for a shutdown of the engine.
And American 1625, just verify turn right heading 280.
280 on the heading, American 1625. We will need some delay vectors out here. We got to get the house in order, and we'll let you know when we're ready.
Stepped on again.
American 1625, Roger, are you able to climb at all, or do you need to stay at 5?
Prefer to stay at 5 if we could.
American 1625, Roger. American 1625, cleared direct scaffold to hold as published, maintaining 5,000. That's for the turn. 20150 is on power report. American 1625 to verify, cleared scaffold, hold as published, maintain 5,000.
What to scaffold it was for American 1625?
Affirmative.
All right, stand by. We're looking for it.
That's on it's the initial fix from ILS 108.
Okay. Direct scaffold hold is published American 1625.
American 1625, contact the place 126.9 is speed your discretion.
226.9 American 1625.
And it
American 1625 is entered holding at Scapa. Approach American 1625. Yeah, we're ready to begin the approach. Alright, cross Scapa, at about 3500, courtesy of the ILS.
Communication's not great right now.
Approach American 1625. Yeah, just for your planning purposes, should we need to go miss, we'll have to do a single engine procedure. That will take us 7 miles runway heading, 7 miles east of the localizer there with ILS, and then we'll be making a left turn to heading 305. It'll just be headings for our procedure just calls for us to avoid the terrain. So, like I said, 7 east on the localizer for this runway. We're going to turn left to 305, and then we'll just coordinate with you from there. It'll be, we call it 6,000 according to the NSA.
Okay, they're coming in on the 10 right localizer.
12377 American 1625.
Only getting part of the
American
communications.
1625 ILS 10 right.
American 1625, Portland Tower, wind 080 at 29, gust 40. The last arrival reported gains and losses of 10 knots on final.
Breezy.
Runway 10 right, clear to land.
10 right, 1625.
Pretty windy.
That's American 1625.
American 1625, Portland Tower.
Yeah, is there going to be a discrete frequency for RF? We'll just want to stop real quick and have them check brakes, etc.
American 1625, negative. Probably just have you make transmissions on ground, and if you'd like one, I can bring one up for you.
No, it's not a problem. I just, want to stay out of your way as much as possible.
Right.
Thinking ahead.
American 1625, and is your intention to stop on the runway or taxi off?
Well, we can taxi off the runway, but I'd like to stop on the high speed or adjacent taxiway and have them check brake temps, etc. for us before we continue to the gate.
American 1625, roger, thanks.
And they come in and land on 10 right. And they pull off.
American 1625, turn left when able, and the contact around point 9 of the day.
Pull off the runway on the parallel. They stop and get checked out by ARFF. And happy ending. And I have to say that, I have several things to say. First, I'd like to apologize for kind of getting on to the controller about the Mayday declaring an emergency thing, because as we mentioned when we were watching this together, I didn't hear it the first time, but the second time I heard it, I heard that the controller was talking at the same time as the American flight was, and so he didn't hear him say Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. The second thing that I was going to complain about, but now I'm not, is that, again, there was a communication stepping on each other kind of thing, and the American flight said that they wanted delay vectors, and I thought that the controller heard that, and then all of a sudden said, okay, let's clear you to Scapo for holding. And I'm thinking, that's the last thing that I want to do in the middle of an emergency, is to try to figure out where Scapo is and load the box and set up the fix and the holding pattern and all that kind of stuff. And again, ATC didn't hear him say delay vectors. Now, they could have come back and said, yeah, we'd prefer just vectors, please, because we're really busy running checklists. Can you just give us some headings here, instead of having to worry about the programming of the FMS and setting it up for holding and that kind of thing. So that was the second thing I was going to complain about, but I guess I'm not now. The third thing I will complain about is
Information Zulu.
Yeah, let us know that you have information Zulu, and I think, oh, come on. Now I think another controller came on and said that the information did change to information alpha, but they read the
pertinent
appropriate
information
things,
the wins
on there, which is the way that's the way you do it,
right.
But and again, my impression, and I know you're going to give us your impressions as well, Steph. But I thought the pilots on this American flight were, I mean, just by the book, did everything perfectly from what I can hear, and also anticipating, like, okay, so now we're having to shut the engine down because the reverser unlock light, and that's because what their procedures told them that's what you should do. So now they're single engine, and now they're, in Portland, Oregon area, it's beautiful. It's relatively low elevation where the airport is, but not too far away from the airport are some big mountains and a lot of terrain. And so you got to really be terrain aware when you're flying in and out of Portland, Oregon. And they checked their publications, and obviously had an engine out procedure for a missed approach, and probably an engine out on departure as well. Sometimes those are kind of combined into the same procedure, but he had the forethought, thinking, okay, if something happens and we have to go around, we only have one engine and we have high terrain, so we need to do this procedure, and I need to advise air traffic control that this is what we're going to do. And so I'm thinking, wow. And then the final thing that he was really thinking ahead about was the discrete frequency. Okay, thinking ahead, what am I going to do after we land? Who am I going to talk to? How am I going to talk to them, etc. So really, really nice. Kudos to the American Airlines crew here for that incident. Okay, Steph.
No, I agree with everything you just said. Really good textbook example of, obviously just from what we can hear, but everything presented as it should go. Got a situation to deal with, and deal with it the best you can by the book.
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom has a question. He said,
yeah.
Can they not literally go do whatever they want without getting ATC vectors, etc.? Technically, an emergency, they could. But, in this case, there's good communication back and forth. And it's yes, it's an emergency. They have an issue to deal with. But they have time to deal with it. And in this case, they can do so by working with ATC and getting vectors or figuring out where they need to go, again, to take care of their checklists, and, as he said, get their house in order, and also be out of the way of what's happening at Portland since they're still in the vicinity. So
Yep.
I think that's the way that should have worked.
Yeah, the captain's authority, emergency authority, is gold. You can do whatever you believe would be necessary for the safety of the flight. And I think that, my only criticism of any of this, and I'm sure they were so busy they thought, I'm not even going to go get into it with the air traffic controller because I've asked for delay vectors and now you're sending us to this fix. I probably would have come back or told my first officer, whoever was communicating with air traffic control, tell them we want vectors, please. So that we remove that from our list of all the things we have to accomplish at this point. So Hell Boxes in our live audience says, we need to get our house in order. Should have been enough of a hint for the controller to stop adding to the workload. And, we as pilots know that that's a big workload that he just added to, or that fix and holding pattern and everything else. I'm not so sure that all controllers quite grasp that unless they're pilots themselves. It
And
could be
also,
that they just don't know.
The controllers do have certain information that they're at least required to try to get.
Yeah.
So, nature of the emergency, so they're trying to do coordination on their end as well, figure out what services might be required. They want to know how many, you guys heard them ask about souls on board and fuel remaining. Those are all things that they're going to ask for.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's, a lot to be requesting in that moment, but that's part of their job to do as well.
Just like one of those things, those boxes they have to check off. And they're going to be, they're going to review this after the fact, and they're probably thinking, oh, okay, I got to make sure I do all these things that I'm supposed to do, because otherwise somebody's going to, criticize me for not doing them. Now, I have a feeling the guy that came on and basically gave all the important information of the new ATIS Alpha was probably a pilot. Sometimes you can tell, and Opposing Bases talks about this quite a bit, and they're both pilots and controllers, and they have a little bit better perspective, I think, than somebody who is just an air traffic controller and doesn't have any pilot experience. And I think that it's a good combination of skills to have. If not everybody can do that. Not everybody can go out and become pilots and air traffic controllers. So
interesting
it's just
though.
bonus.
And it was my first time listening through on that when we played it just now, but I didn't catch that it was a different voice with that information. I thought it was the same one, but I'll.
Oh,
come
well,
back
maybe
and
it
listen
was.
again. It might.
Well,
No, it
I may have
been
missed
a
that
different.
too.
No, it's just funny that you said that because I just missed that. But it's funny what you missed the first time through, right? Like so.
Yeah, so I may have missed. In my mind, I thought it
probably
was a
missed
different
it.
controller. So, but
No, I'm saying I
maybe not.
probably missed that. It was a different person.
Yeah, we'll have to listen again, I guess. Anyway, so job well done there by everybody in this situation, including the air traffic controller. Yeah, thanks for sending it in, Tom. And I think we need to wrap it up for sure. And we'll do. Oh, by the way, we're still got a couple people helping in the background with the transition of the website to a new server platform, and getting the little S on the end of the HTTPS, so you don't get any of those nasty, scary messages that you're going to a website that is evil
Cannot
and
be
is going to
trusted.
steal all your information.
Nefarious.
Yeah, we don't do that. But just so that everybody feels better, we're going to do that for you. So we have Erwin and Dan, along with Arash and myself. We're all working together to make that happen. And the website address is airlinepilotguy.com. You can find information about the crew and the community calendar. We have the APG store, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, where you can buy T-shirts and coffee mugs and hats and clocks, all kinds of crazy things. I'm not even sure exactly.
Not
that
not
one
this
that
mug
Steph is showing,
specifically,
yeah,
but a mug similar.
yeah, exactly, because I made that one, and used to do that. Don't do that anymore. all that equipment is gone. Let's see. So much more. We have information about the plane tails, and we have a library, if you can believe it. Tiffany, our librarian, manages that for us, and also we have a special page for you to find us on YouTube, which we're doing right now, live. Oh yeah. If you are interested in having a guest from the Airline Pilot Guy crew, park in your driveway.
Yeah, specifically,
and,
it's Captain Jeff.
well, I mean,
he made that sound like
anybody on the crew that has a motorhome that might need to dock somewhere while they're making their way across the country. Yeah, okay. Let me simplify. I'm going to have a motorhome. I'm going to be traveling all over the country. I would love to visit with you and see you and all that kind of stuff. And it would be wonderful to have a place to park the thing overnight and while I'm on my travels. And if you want to do that, make yourself known. And we had several already wonderful people who have sent in some amazing possibilities for places to stay and meet up.
All over
kinds
the
of
country.
Great stuff. All over the country. Yep. And even in Canada.
Canadian
Up
land.
there in the Yukon.
Is it Canadian land? I have to emphasize the land, Liz.
Oh, Canadian land.
Land.
Yeah.
Just like Newfoundland, Canadian land. Got it.
Anyway, the address to use if you're interested in being a host, RV at airlinepilotguy.com. That's the letters R and V at airlinepilotguy.com. Romeo Victor. Thank you, Liz. And and we're also on social media. And Steph,
I've forgotten how to
this
do
over.
this. I'm
No,
sure
you
someone
haven't.
else took over and polished it and made it nicer.
Oh yeah,
but
so much better than you can do it.
if you're on social media, please head over to Facebook. That's facebook.com/airlinepilotguy. Join us in the community there. We are on X. Handle is at APG Crew, and I think we've still got individual handles pinned to the top of that page should you wish to find us individually. If you want to check out Captain Nick's fantastic show art, please head over to Instagram. We are APG Crew, and youtube.com/airlinepilotguy. Check the website for the link for the current live recording if you wish to join us in progress. All kinds of folks hang out with us, and the chat room usually is talking about things completely unrelated to what we're doing, and it's not distracting at all. So
No.
Please,
It's usually
yes.
more entertaining and interesting
Usually
than what
more
we're talking
entertaining
about.
than us. So please check all of that out. And if you just can't get enough from those channels, head on over to Slack.
Slack. Well, of course, that's our great Hillel who's in the shower. Let's see. Hillel? Hillel? Can you tell us about Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
Yeah, we know. We know. Come on over here and tell us all about it.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas. We suggest episode and Plain Tales topics. We plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo at airlinepilotguy.com, or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thanks a lot, Hillel.
Jeff, which
What?
washcloth is mine? I really wish you would stop moving them.
Sorry. You guys getting really,
It's
kind
really
of particular
demanding.
about things.
So
Very
demanding.
And before we thank Liz, I want to mention that I've been trying to get better about getting on Slack and seeing what all the Slackers are talking about over there. And it's a really interesting thread. About a week or so ago, James Graves Brown was asking those on Skype about I guess he had a friend who's has his own airplane and was asking him to go and fly with him, but James had some concerns, and so the group kind of addressed his concerns and that kind of thing. It was a great discussion. It's just like one of many of those types of discussions that happen on this platform, Skype. I mean, not Skype, Slack. So check it out. If you're not already on the Slack team, please contact Hillel. And
It's
join
like
in.
a hive mind over there.
A hive mind.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard that term before.
Haven't
but
you?
Yeah, if you say so.
The hive mind.
Is that?
Hive mind. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like. Yeah, I guess I'm living under a rock. But now I can add that to my
a lot of
vocabulary.
knowledge over there in Slack that they can.
Well, I get the
glean from.
concept. I
You just never heard the
term.
phrase.
Yeah.
Hive mind. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, Liz,
Yeah, I'm here.
a day after your no, a couple
2
days
days.
after your birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Happy
we're still
birthday,
celebrating.
Liz.
It's a birthday weekend,
I
and
know.
thank you so much, Liz,
Thank
for
you. You're welcome.
all the work that you do, and you do a lot. And we
Great to
do
see
appreciate
Steffi
it.
back.
Yes,
Glad
it
to have her
is.
back.
Thanks.
And
Just
so,
some late breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Captain
Late
Jur
breaking
is
news.
moments away from getting into U.S. airspace, so he'll be
Oh, okay.
over the
Excellent.
U.S. shortly.
Yep. So if you're watching live and you happen to be in the Atlanta area, we're meeting up over at the Smoke Jack barbecue in Alpharetta. We'd love to see you if you can make it.
What time?
And at Steph, you're not going to fly over here.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But I thought
Oh,
that
I
might
see.
be
You're
helpful
just for
information.
people that are. Oh yeah, 5 o'clock.
5 p.m. Okay.
I'm going to try to get there a little bit before that. We don't have anything reserved, so I'm not sure how many people are going to show up. So hopefully we'll find a big table and be able to accommodate everyone. So anyway,
Great.
that's
Have
about
fun.
it. Thank you. I plan on it, and yeah, we already talked about the Talons Douglas earlier, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is the point where I say, wishing you all clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care and God bless.
Cheers, y'all.
Thanks for spending part of your Saturday with us, everybody.
That's way too much to say. Just kidding.
I got 2 words. That's all I can do. Cheers.
Oh, I love it.
Y'all.
Bye, y'all. Cheers, y'all. Is that what you said?
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all. Yeah.
Cheers, all y'all.
Turn off that recorder, Jeff.
Okay. Let me go over here.
Tim Van Ram thinks we need to have APG branded Depends to help them get through the 3-hour show.
Very, very funny.
Mhm.
Well, we were, do we need something like that? Depends.
Depends.
It all depends. I
It all
guess.
depends.
Tim Van Ram also wants to have an RV meetup, so that
Yeah, because
yeah,
Tim has an RV.
yeah,
I don't know how many. I wonder how many listeners out there have RVs.
that'd be interesting.
Aloha, y'all. Is Masha in the Hawaiian Islands?
I don't know.
I think that's
Oh,
a
wait, that
traditional
was something
Dutch
that-
greeting.
Is it a traditional Dutch greeting? Oh, I'm sorry.
It was
I forgot
stolen
about-
by the Hawaiians.
Yeah. I think that she's that's probably in reference to the Delta pilot that chartered the A330 900
Right.
Neo.
Right.
And I think that's what they said as they signed off at LA. Aloha, y'all. Did you hear about that, Steph?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Jeff will not be doing that.
No,
Yeah,
he didn't plan that for
obviously
your
not.
retirement.
He's made that pretty clear.
Yeah.
But we all would have joined you.
I mentioned on the last show when we were talking about that I'm not sure that Delta would really appreciate me coming back and chartering a 717, since I'm not really current at all and I'm no longer an employee.
Yeah, but we were going to get Brent to come and fly it.
Oh, that's right. We could get
There you
Brent
go.
to be our charter pilot.
Exactly.
Oh, well. But as we also mentioned, Steph, if we did take off from Los Angeles heading out over the Pacific, that we would be in the Pacific a couple hours later.
Too soon? Yeah, before getting to Hawaii.
Not sure it would make it.
Get those
Pretty sure it wouldn't.
pontoons on there.
Yeah.
All right, Steffi's got
Irritates.
some stuff to do. We got to let
Yes,
her go.
I have. Yeah,
Okay.
it never ends.
Thanks, everybody,
Long
for
list.
joining us. We'll see
Yeah,
you
thanks
next
for
time.
hanging out with us this on the weekend here and getting up early for some of you anyway. And great to see you. And we love you. And we hope to see you again soon.
Talents, Douglas.
Talons,
y'all.
Douglas.